Shields up, Iron Breakers. Rurikhan here, coming at you with another video, and today we're going to be talking about Assassin's Creed Odyssey. Now, as you guys know, Assassin's Creed Odyssey is a game that I was very excited about, and then when the game came out, I was very disappointed by the microtransactions and the lack of polish, which are my two main complaints on that game, to the point where I kind of didn't really play it all that much. But today I wanted to go ahead and play some more of it, and I did it on stream, because I wanted to experience some more mechanics of the game to see, see how I feel about the rest of the stuff that is on the game. And I gotta say, I had a lot of fun. I enjoy a lot of the things that Assassin's Creed has to offer. It doesn't change my opinion on how I feel about the microtransactions. It doesn't change my opinion on how I feel about lack of polish in the game. As a matter of fact, it actually made that opinion even stronger, because now I've experienced more things and I've seen a couple of more interesting things that I feel have not been properly tested, particularly if you're playing on the Nightmare difficulty. Because as you guys know, when I started playing the game, I did that live stream and I started playing on Nightmare. And one of the things that we've instantly noticed is that a lot of times you'll backstab enemies and they just do not react to it. That stuff still happens, which is weird to me because it's been quite a while since the game has actually been released. Still haven't patched that out, which led me to a conclusion that I don't know if I'm right with it or not, but I believe that QA might have not tested this game on the maximum difficulty. Maybe I'm wrong. Maybe I'm wrong. That's just the way that I personally feel, okay? And let me tell you guys why. Because eventually, as I was playing through the game, the live stream started, right? And I was playing and I was experiencing the new mechanics. I was playing with the ship combat and all of that stuff. And I was enjoying myself a lot. If you guys watched that live stream over on Twitch, you guys will have noticed that I was enjoying myself quite a bit, even when there was a part that basically I was getting overwhelmed by enemies and I climbed to the top of a building, basically kicked all of them off of a building one by one, started making a nice little pile of bodies at the end of the building. Like, that was fun to me. Right? It's still in good fun, because sure, maybe the numbers are a little bit wonky. Sure, maybe all of these things are whatever. But ultimately, when I finished that live stream, I was just upset. I was legitimately upset because, again, the conclusion that I reached is that I really don't think that people tested this thing in Nightmare. And why is that? So you guys know those battles that you get to do, the war battle. So you do the thing where you weaken a nation, and then after you weaken the nation, there's a big battle that decides, who wins and whatnot. And you have to do this as part of the story. So I go into one of those big battles, which I gotta be honest, from what I had seen on the promotional material on the game ahead of release, I really thought that I was going to enjoy those battles. So I was excited for it. I was like, oh yeah, dude, let's go kick the Athenians' ass. It's gonna be awesome. And then I get to the battle and I'm just like, what is this? And it's just a big clusterfuck of dudes, right? We're talking like Muju numbers here, okay? But with an Assassin's Creed combat system. And I gotta tell you, this combat system, in my opinion, doesn't really lend itself all too well to fighting multiple enemies at the same time. It's really hard to keep track of where everybody is, and a lot of times enemies will show up behind you because you're locked on to another enemy, because you need to be locked on to properly use a lot of your skills, because otherwise you might miss a lot of the attacks that you do. And it just makes it very hard for you to keep tabs on where everybody is. And then you put yourself in that scenario where there's like all of these enemies and you're supposed to be fighting the enemy captains, right? And any one of those soldiers could two-shot me. Literally two-shot me. You guys are like, oh, you're under-leveled. No, I'm not. I did a lot of side content before I got to that quest. My level was fine. I was level 10 by the time I got there. And I had pretty much I don't think I had level 10 on all of my armor pieces, but I had a lot of armor pieces that were up to snuff. I had I think a level 9 spear or something like that. So basically I was properly equipped for this fight. Any enemy in there could two-shot me. And when you consider that any enemy can instantly two-shot you, I didn't invest into the skill that can heal yourself, because I needed to actually invest in skills that allowed me to kill people. Because when you're playing in Nightmare mode, if you don't have certain skills that actually allow you to, do decent damage, you're pretty much screwed. So I had to invest more in damage skills and less in survival skills, so that it doesn't take like 50 attacks to kill someone. So, you got enemies that can two-shot you all over the place, and you're trying to kill these captains. Needless to say that I got two-shot repeatedly. And here's where the problem lies, right? It's not even about me dying to the 2 shots. I don't mind that. That's fine. I picked Nightmare difficulty. That is completely on me. Here's the biggest problem, and here's what caused me to be really frustrated, is the fact that I would get 2-shotted, which is pretty friggin' cheap, sometimes by enemies that weren't even on screen, sometimes by archers. Archers like God knows where, I couldn't even see them. They would 2-shot me with arrows, and I'd be like, okay. But what happens after the 2-shot is the really frustrating part, because you loaded into this battle, right? This massive battle. The game had to load you in, all that stuff, long loading times. That's fine, I accept them. But after you die, the game loads you back to before the battle began. So the game has to take longer in order to load you back to the previous state that you were in. Okay, that's fine. So the game loads me back, then I talk to the character again. There's a cinematic that I can't skip. And after I get the cinematic that I can't skip, I say, okay, I'm ready to go to war again. And then I'm like, yeah, a little bit more cinematic, and then boom, another long-ass loading screen. And then finally, you get back into the battle. Like, do you understand how long that is? Why couldn't you just, like, take me back into the battle? Why couldn't you just, like, okay, you died, here you are, back at the battle again, let's start over. Like, that probably would have not made me be upset to the point where I was like, I just don't feel like playing this anymore. But the fact that you get that long-ass loading screen all the way back, and then you have to watch a cutscene. Then after you watch the cutscene, put you back into the battle. And no, it doesn't put you back in the battle. It puts you back in another loading screen. And then from that loading screen, then you get to the battle. And then again, you're basically 2 shots away from going back into another long-ass load. You're just basically spending more time waiting to play the game than actually playing the game. And that's why I feel the game wasn't properly tested. There's no way that someone from QA would have tested that, you know, died in a nightmare scenario, right? In the middle of that big-ass battle, and then experienced 2 loading screens to get back into the battle. And he was like, yeah, this is fine. There's no way. You cannot convince me that there's a single person that would do that. No. Just no. Okay? That is not okay. And that just boils down to that lack of polish. Like, again, there's a lot of shit that I like about this game. And that's why I understand why people are so passionate about it, why people are so defensive about it, because there's a lot of good ideas. There's a really good game in Assassin's Creed Odyssey. That's the thing. That's the thing that a lot of people seem to not understand whenever I talk about the game, is that I know that there's a really good game there. It's just buried beneath so many layers of bullshit that it's hard for people to actually dig up that good game and actually enjoy it. Like, you log on to the game, there's the store, there's the permanent experience booster by 50%, doubles your XP. Right? You're immediately with 1 foot back because you're like, what the fuck is this? I'm free to play bullshit on my video game that I just spent $60 on? What the fuck is that? Right? Then there's the same thing for Drachmi and for the maps and for this all this other bullshit, right? The microtransaction stuff. And by the way, I've had some people in my comment sections come to me with the attitude like, hey, Rurikhan, why don't you, I'm sorry if I don't have enough time to actually level up a character to level 50, I'm sorry if I get to use this boost to get there a little bit faster. It's like, you need to understand something. They purposefully throttled the game back to herd you into buying that boost. So when you tell me that, oh my God, it's actually really good that they gave me this option to boost myself so that I can level up fast. They didn't give you that option. What they did was they took it away from everybody else and then said, give me $10 if you want it. Because if the game was properly made, if you didn't have that boost there, you would level at a good pace. And it's been said by many people that the game is grindy. And it is. Now that I've played it, now that I've put even a couple of more hours into it, I can definitely tell you it is grindy. And that's the thing. I've reached a point with Assassin's Creed Odyssey that I like so many of the mechanics on that I'm even okay with it being grindy, but don't come at me telling me like, oh, they're giving me the options. Like, well, that's some serious Stockholm Syndrome bullshit. Like, seriously, dude, really think about what you're saying. You're saying that you're glad about a company allowing you to give them more money to play the game properly. Like, what the hell? And then once you boil all of that down and you add this lack of polish that I've been talking about, lack of polish in certain animations, like the way the character walks, the way the male character walks even doesn't make sense. My stream was even telling me, looks like a character's carrying around a diaper. Looks like he's got shit on his diaper and he can't move too fast, otherwise like shit will come off and run down his legs. That's the thing. I like this game. But I cannot look past all of these flaws. I'm just confused as hell. Because for starters, one of the things that I'll tell you right now is do not play this in Nightmare. Just don't do it. And please come at me and tell me how you've done it. And you're like, oh no, man, it's totally fine. It's perfectly okay. Super balanced. It's fine. Please tell me. Tell me more about that. I'm really interested in knowing how you played through this game in Nightmare. Yeah, right. I'm sure you had a time of your life. But anyways, I'm not salty about the difficulty. It's just those little details, like the double loading screen before putting me back into the action. Why? Why the loading screens need to be so long? It doesn't make that much sense, because it's like, if I'm in an area and I'm fighting in that area and I have a save point in that area and I die in that area, why don't you just load up the area again? Why do you gotta load up the entirety of the fucking world all over again and then position me in the area? It just doesn't make sense. Just doesn't make sense. But yeah, you guys, I guess I continue to be pretty divided on Assassin's Creed Odyssey. It's a weird relationship. Anyways, I just wanted to update you guys a little bit on how I feel about it. Because again, it is still, I keep coming back to this. It is still a lot of fun when it's working properly. Like when I was doing the naval battles and when I was, fighting certain camps that weren't built with like 40 people or something, I enjoyed it. I enjoyed it a lot. And that's why I keep wanting to enjoy more of it, but it's almost like it's an abusive relationship, right? I keep coming back to him. He keeps slapping me across the face. I keep like, but Assassin's Creed Odyssey, I want to like you. And he just kind of shield slams me across the face. And I'm just like, you don't even let me use shields. Anyways, that's pretty much all I had to say. As I play more, I'm sure that I might get a couple of more things that I want to talk about it, but for now, that's it. I am probably going to be playing at least a bit of Red Dead Redemption 2, because a lot of you guys have requested for it, so we'll see how that one pans out. Hopefully, I'll be able to get it on Friday. We'll see how that works out, but yeah. If you guys enjoyed this video, leave it a like. Do leave me all of your comments, all of your feedback. I read all of that stuff, and although I do hope that I've explained myself pretty well on where I stand with this game. Yeah, and if you guys enjoy my videos, subscribe, hit the bell notification icon so that you're actually notified when I do live stream or when I do have new videos up. Thank you very much for watching. Here's 2 video suggestions that you guys might enjoy, and I'll see you in the next one.